So I may be the self-proclaimed queen of pitching to brands, maybe not self-proclaimed, but actually because of the hundreds of testimonials that I've gotten. But there are times that you should not be pitching. There are. And that's what we're going to cover today. When not to pitch a brand. So I hope the most obvious one is when the brand does not fit your own values. You guys, authenticity is everything, okay? In this industry and beyond, in life, just being true to yourself. Please, if you are in, clean food or wellness and health, don't pitch an energy drink. Don't pitch something that is totally off-brand for you. Yes, you are a brand and you can have off-brand moments as well. So maybe a brand even comes to you. This is the hardest one. This is actually really hard. When a brand comes to you and they offer you a lot of money, oh my God, even harder to say no, right? Because maybe you're like, oh, I should just pitch them a bigger package, or I should just pitch them my premium. I should just send it. No, stay away. You will regret it. It is not worth the short-term satisfaction of just getting the job. The long-term effects are way more serious for you and your business. I'm serious. I've seen so many just clips on social. Denzel Washington saying no to the first movie, $600,000. And he said no because it was a controversial role or a role that didn't align with his values. And then 9 months later, he got the Oscar. I'm not saying that's going to happen to you. I'm just saying that it's just not worth engaging with a brand that does not fit your values and what you stand for. It's hard saying no to money. I get that too, especially when a brand comes to you, but trust, I've seen it happen. I had a creator recently. There was a tourism board that reached out to her and she just did not appreciate some of the political things happening within that country, the practices that were happening in that country, how the people were being treated, XYZ, and she turned it down. And it was a big deal. It was a big fat 5-figure deal, in the 20,000 plus range. And she said no because it did not align with her values. I know, right? Scary, but that's what being true to yourself is. And it's also opening the door for other brands to come to you and for you to pitch that do match your values. Similarly, outside of your values is not pitching brands that are, controversial. There's a brand that's really controversial. Why pitch them? Pitch someone else. I just don't think it's necessarily even worth getting into bed with someone that has a controversial past or history. It could flow into you and then you have to get into all crisis comm mode and deal. It's not worth it. I just say pass on that one altogether. Now, another time that you shouldn't be not pitching a potential brand is if you think that your audience is not going to like it or appreciate it. Now, I know sometimes it's like, well, I really want it myself, right? I really want to work with this brand. But remember, especially when you're in the influencer world, you've spent so long building this audience that trusts you, that also comes to you. If you're going to work with a brand that you think they're just not going to appreciate, engage with, none of it, it may flop, right? Even if you really want it, it may flop. So sometimes, again, just think about your audience as well. Think about your niche. Does this make sense for you? And will the content do well? Because let's just say you pitch a partner and you're like, I want to do this. This is my amazing audience, And then the content totally flops because it's not, again, on brand, but not within your niche, or your audience just does not resonate with it. Is it worth even pitching that type of brand? I always say when you're, putting your pitch list together, a brand you want to outreach, you want to reach out to brands that are aligned with you and that are niche specific at first, because it's just easier. If your niche matches their niche, it's a way easier yes, especially when you're just starting and you want those quick wins. Now, if you're a creator that wants to work with brands, you want quick wins, you want to get paid, come to my next free live training. It is so helpful. Just look at all the comments from people that have come. I share my screen. I read a pitch out loud. I role play. I do all the things. It's amazing. So make sure you check out the link below to register and join us. Don't pitch a brand you don't like. Just don't pitch them. I know that may sound intuitive, but I have people putting pitch lists together and then they come on my calls and I'm like, oh, that's interesting that you put this brand on your list. Never would have thought you would have liked them. She's like, oh yeah, no, I don't really care. I'm like, again, inauthentic. You don't even like them. Don't pitch them. Even if it aligns with your niche, if you do not like or plan to use or think that it is helpful, don't pitch. Now, the only exception to this is if it's an alternative to maybe a more expensive item. So sometimes when you're creating content for your audience, you want to give them alternatives and variety. So I'll never forget, there was this creator that I was working with and she a smart watch pitched her and she's like, Nina, I have the Apple Watch. And I was like, interesting, but do you like smart watches? She's like, yes, I think they're amazing. A watch pitched her and it was a lot cheaper. I go, well, do you think your audience would be interested in a cheaper alternative to the Apple Watch? And she was like, actually, I never thought about that. So I'm like, maybe you want to get the watch, test it, see if it's good. And if it is, you want to say to your audience, hey guys, I use the Apple Watch, but I wanted to show you a cheaper alternative that may be better for you if you're on a budget. It's showing them a different option, right? So that's kind of the loophole there. Okay, so this one is intense, but hear me out. So this video is about like when not to pitch a brand. If a brand has been very clear with you that they never want to work with you, believe it or not, a brand could actually be very clear, then leave them alone. If they say, please stop emailing me, please, very clear. Let me give you an example. I always tell creators that you can pitch the same brand multiple times. It's just that you're not sending them the same pitch. You're giving them different ideas, different concepts. Think about someone in the PR world. They're pitching the same newspapers multiple times, but there will be sometimes an editor that writes back, says, please remove me from your list. Do not pitch me. Then in that case, you remove them, right? So if that happens to you and a brand straight up tells you, please remove me, don't reach out, we're not interested, then don't pitch them again. Because again, when we talk about pitching, we also talk about repitching and pitching brands multiple times, which I'm a big fan of, and I teach how to do in my program. But if they straight up tell you don't, then you should listen to them. Anyways, guys, let me know what you think of today's video in the comments below. Make sure you like this video, share it with a friend. That helps us here at Sidewalker continue to create videos for you guys. And I'll see you in the next video.